besides me being incredibly fucking genius, the DHS is about to shut down, chat! The DHS is shutting down! Now, the shutdown for parts of federal government is expected as lawmakers debate new restrictions on President Donald Trump's immigration agenda. Funding for DHS is set to expire on Saturday, which is tomorrow. Unlike the 43-day shutdown last fall, closure will be narrowly confined as only agencies under the DHS umbrella like ICE and Border Protection will be affected. Still, depending on how long the shutdown lasts, some federal workers could begin to miss paychecks. I guarantee no ICE agent is missing a paycheck from this. Guarantee it. Some are just now recovering from the financial impact of the 43-day shutdown, says Ha Nguyen McNeil, senior officer performing duties as the TSA administrator. Many are still reeling for it. TSA, about 95% of employees can use scan passengers looking to work. Funding lapses resolved. Oh, yeah, because DHS would be TSA, right? Essentially, it's because Trump acquiesced to Democrats to request that Homeland Security funding be stripped from a border spending package. For ICE, what our agencies are impacted: ICE, DHS, U.S. Customs and Border Protection, Secret Service, FEMA, Federal Emergency Management Agency. What's up, Banana Brother? At FEMA, the shutdown would disrupt the agency's ability to reimburse states for disaster relief costs, which they weren't doing anyway, so that doesn't make a huge difference. It's up to each federal agency to designate which of its employees are essential or accepted, which both mean the same thing in this case. The work or expected. Expected? No, accepted. Yeah, I don't know why I had a hard time reading that. Some examples are military personnel, security screeners at airports, and law enforcement officers. More than 270,000 people have been deployed by or employed by Homeland Security deemed essential, so they are going to be going without pay. Because Republicans are refusing to acquiesce towards this deal on cutting ICE or like reining in ICE, which is like the bare minimum, by the way. The bare minimum for this would be like, oh, let's rein in ICE and then let's keep everything together, body cams, more tracking on each ICE officer. It appears certain that shutdown for DHS will come at the end of Friday, which it is already at the end of Friday. And the House and Senate to leave for a 10-day break. Democrats in the White House have traded offers in recent days, especially with Alex Preddy and Renee Good getting murdered. Man, this is just, it's not going to happen. U.S. should reconsider whatever. That's not what I'm talking about right now. Yeah. AOC, whatever. Moving on. Trump regime change. Nope, not talking about that. Where is it? Why asked Democrat Hakeem Jeffries standing amongst the Capitol after Congress left for a 10-day recess? Because Donald Trump and Republicans have decided they have zero interest in getting ICE under control. I hope. My hope is that Democrats don't try to back off of this one like they did the last shutdown. That's my hope. I really do have the fear that once this starts going, Democrats will start funding it again and take responsibility for it. But at least there's not going to be as much widespread suffering. ICE agents are going to get more belligerent if they get cut on paychecks, which is not good ever. What's Fox saying about this? Give me 1 second. I'm pulling up Fox News. Just curious what their take is here. Go away. If it wants to load.
I want my kids to grow up healthy.
Oh my God!
Safe.
Shut up. All right, 20 seconds. He called a massive slush fund, including $75 billion for ICE under the GOP's big tax break bill. Oh, yeah, and then ICE officers lied about the shooting of Venezuelan man in Minneapolis. Noam advocates for GOP elections bill. That's what I'm looking for. Noam, I am still in charge of DHS. Damn. DHS is collapsing, by the way. No made a statement during a press conference near Phoenix where she was supposed to discuss election security. I'm still in charge of the DHS. Reporter asked Nona if she's still around the department. Nona's come searching criticism not only from Democrats but some Republicans after ICE agents killed 2 U.S. citizens protesting in Minneapolis, and Nome seemed to mistake the facts of the case in the initial hours. No, it wasn't mistaking the facts, just lied about them. Please correct that, AP News. Oh my God.
Good morning, Carly and Todd.
What do we got to
Chief
say about
Todd
this?
Lyons is one of the leaders appearing before the
Or
House
Fox.
Homeland Security Committee today, and he will likely face questions about immigration enforcement in Minnesota. The fallout from that operation reverberating on Capitol Hill, where Republicans and Democrats are in a stalemate over DHS funding. Democrats have 10 demands to, as they say, rein in ICE. It includes targeted enforcement, no masks for immigration agents, and requiring DHS officers to provide ID. Democratic leadership say they received a Republican counterproposal yesterday. They called it, quote, both incomplete and insufficient in terms of addressing the concerns Americans have about ISIS lawless conduct. Democrats await additional detail and text. Republicans, though, say Democrats are the ones being unreasonable.
Yeah, okay. As they're always going to say.
If Democrats are serious about finding a solution here, they may need to find more time to bring these efforts to a productive conclusion.
So the funding deadline is this Friday. That was a Democrat demand. They didn't want to fund TSA. They didn't want to fund Secret Service. They don't want to fund FEMA. They don't want to fund any of those if they can.
And it's going to look real bad for Republicans, by the way. This is going to be really bad for Trump and other Republicans. They're already trying to push the blame onto Democrats.
Also cut off funding to ICE.
Much more extreme than last time. Much more extreme than last time. In the push to blame
the Trump
Democrats.
Administration is celebrating a legal win for now after a federal appeals court in San Francisco granted a stay allowing the government to move forward with ending temporary protected status for immigrants from Nepal, Honduras, and Nicaragua. Attorney General Pambandi saying, as the court found, the government is likely to prevail in its argument that ending temporary protected status for some immigrants is sound and lawful policy. DHS has argued TPS protections were always intended to be temporary. Carly and Todd.
I'm hearing the words incomplete and unreasonable when it comes to accusations being thrown around between the two sides. That's not a good place to be. Madeline Rivera live.
Oh my God, dude. They all look the same.
Washington, Maddie, thank you. Let's bring in Texas Congressman Lance Gooden. Congressman, thank you
Get out of here, man.
so much for joining us. So just set the stage for us this morning.
God, she looks so awful.
The agencies and services at risk if DHS does in fact shut down with no sign of reopening in sight. How does that impact all of us?
Well, first of all, the ICE agency is not at risk. The big, beautiful
Yep. Of course it's not.
bill that we passed last July fully funds and some the ICE operations that Democrats are so angry about. So what they've done is put at risk the
Democrats and Republicans, like a good quarter of Republicans.
TSA funding. No one wants to go to the airport and have to wait hours to get on a plane.
Sucks to suck. Don't even fly. I don't like flying. I don't. It wastes so much goddamn fucking fossil fuels.
They put at risk the air traffic controllers that are showing up to work, but especially TSA. And you know, and I want to mention TSA because when we get to the airport, we see signs that say verbal abuse will not be tolerated. And so you go to the airport and everyone is on their best behavior. Why doesn't that standard apply to ICE agents who are enforcing the law, sometimes in a dangerous position on the streets?
Because they murdered 2 people? Have fun with the loony bin? That's true.
That's crazy to me that Democrats are standing against ICE. They're standing against law enforcement after so many years of all this talk that they're pro-law enforcement. But what you'll see if the DHS agency fails to get funded this week are long lines at the airport and no change to enforcement, which is why...
Long lines at the airport, but let's not talk about everything. The military getting cutting. Immigration, border control getting cuts for money.
The White House is willing to work with Democrats in a reasonable way.
Yeah, that's not something anybody wants to hear. This one seems like an obvious one, but you never know. Hope springs eternal. Do you think DHS is going to shut down? And if so, for how long?
Actually, no, I don't think. I think we'll come to an agreement. The White House came back.
We already have it shut down. DHS is shut down. And they're not going to get funding for at least the next 10 days.
With some of the counter proposals the Democrats are going to talk about in their meeting this morning. You know, one of the things on the Democrat list is body cameras. We don't have a problem with body cameras.
Then why don't you enter them into the service?
Law enforcement that I talk to, no matter where they are, would love to have a record of their enforcement action.
See, this is the issue with ICE and Republicans. They conflate law enforcement and ICE to be one and the same. They are not. They never have been. ICE is not the same as traditional law enforcement. ICE cannot, if you smoke a joint in front of an ICE officer in a state where it's illegal, they can't arrest you. I mean, they can call the cops on you, but they can't arrest you. It's not the same level. They are there for immigration related things, and that's it. Granted, they would under this administration. Doesn't mean they should or are allowed
to see and have clear video of what these anarchists and protesters and insurrectionists are doing out there on the streets. I think body cameras would clear up quite a bit of questions. And
yeah, like murdering people. They're definitely talking about like how much fun they're having. Like they don't want body cams because they want to show, they don't want people to see like, oh, these people are literally talking about like how much fun they're having murdering people. Like the murder rate from ICE officers will drop significantly once we have body cameras. I don't think harassment will drop, but murder rate definitely will.
Republicans don't have a problem with that.
So there's one other thing that I want to ask you on the list of Democrat demands. It's on the top of the list. It would require that immigration officials obtain a warrant signed by a judge before entering a private home or business. Right now, agents only need an administrative warrant, which they can sign themselves. What would happen to ICE operations if Democrats get their way on this and this one were to come to pass?
This is what every single police officer needs to do. Every single police officer needs this to do any kind of like investigative work in a private business.
Well, I think they'd be slowed down. You know, Republicans are very concerned
Fourth
about
Amendment
freedoms, and we're very reluctant to say you can just storm into anyone's house. But I think if you have a warrant and you're pursuing someone, if they're hiding in a home, then that's a different story. But these are things that we're talking about with Democrats among ourselves on the Republican side. We're very much concerned about constitutional rights of legal American citizens, and we also want this law enforced. We want the American people's desire to have their borders secure and illegals shipped out of this nation fulfilled. That's what President Trump campaigned on in the last election.
And nobody likes ICE right now. Nobody enjoys ICE. Literally nobody on earth likes ICE. I like the fact that they're doubling, tripling down on this is gonna be so bad for them later this year.
Election he made,
and we'll talk
no
about the
secrets
midterms
about it.
tomorrow.
He said, if you elect me, I'm going to ship these illegals out of the country. That's what he's doing. And now Democrats don't like that we are making good on the promises that we made to voters.
And finally, really quickly, want to squeeze this one in because Attorney General Pam Bondi is set to testify tomorrow before the House Judiciary Committee, of which you sit on. So what are your expectations for this hearing tomorrow, and what do you hope to learn?
My expectations are that.
Yeah, whatever. I don't really care anymore. Oh, the double tripling down on ICE is going to be so bad for them. Like I was in Minneapolis. First of all, nobody's like rioting, protesting. Obviously, they're always going to say that no matter what is happening, they're going to say, "Oh, they're burning buildings down," even when they're not. There's no evidence for it. There's no like actual proof of that happening. But they're gonna continue saying that, obviously. So you always have to shoot that down, right? And then second of all, dude, nobody likes ICE. I talked with people who were like, yeah, I voted. So one person I talked about, they're like, you know, I don't like illegal immigrants in this country, and I do think we need to get them out. And I wasn't going to contest them. I was literally just interviewing people near the memorial of Alex Preddy. And they're like, this is too far, and we need to get ICE out of the state. Like, there needs to be a restructuring of ICE completely. Nobody likes ICE. Not Republicans, not Democrats. It is going to be really, 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 really bad for Republicans that they're double tripling down on this. Just like how double tripling down on trans issues really lost them a bunch of momentum in the midterm election of 2022, I think that was? No. Or was that the special election? Or was that 2020? I think it was 2022. No, I think it was 2023. The elections in 2023, when we were expecting there to be a red wave, it was really, really, really drowned out because they were double or tripling down on issues that people didn't really agree with. I'm excited for the midterms. We'll talk more about the midterms tomorrow, though. I have to do a couple of like pieces of reading just so I have like a good grasp on some stuff, but then we'll talk about them tomorrow.